Hello guys, hi, welcome. It's going to be around a 45-minute flow today, and we're going to be working a little bit of space into the upper body amongst other things. If you have got your blocks or block substitutes, they'll be super helpful today. Won't be used for loads of stuff, but there's one of the options I'll give a bit later. It can be really nice to play with for support. So if you've got them, that'd be fab. Yeah, take a moment to get set up, and then as usual we're going to start with a little bit of time in stillness just to settle us in, and that can be in any position you like. If you want to be seated, if you want to lie down, just start to decide where you would like to begin. I've got my lovely little cat in the room today, and he might be fine. I've got a feeling he might get involved. Just a word of warning. Okay. Eyes can be open or closed. And then just take a little bit of time for you. See if there are any little things that you can do just to help you kind of settle into that position. Whether it's moving around, just little wriggles or big stretches. If you feel like you want to yawn. If you want to sigh, if you want to find a release. Just anything like that that can just start to symbolize to you that you are coming to this space of care and this practice of care. We'll ground by noticing supportive sensations, grounding sensations. See if you can be quite specific with what you can feel. Kind of the parts of your body that are touching might be sit bones, might be the spine, maybe a certain part of your knees or your feet, backs of the legs. Tune into how all of those different supports just gently sort of rise to meet your body. And just start to notice this relationship, how you can let yourself be supported by them. Find this gentle holding. So the body's still supported, but it can just have a little bit of softness around those supports. You can begin to bring your awareness towards the breath. Just starting to notice the flow of breath that travels in and out the body. Coming from a potentially busy morning or busy day onto a yoga mat can be quite a big 0 to 100. So we do our best to give ourselves some grace and some time as we start to land. You can decide whether today it feels best to watch your natural rhythm of breath, work with what we would call witnessing or listening, or if you prefer to work with deepening and steadying the breath. Whether it's a simple, steady breath, or if you'd like to start to engage your ujjayi, just gently controlling the breath in the back of the throat. You can use this focus on breath just to gently start to collect your attention, collect your awareness, collect care, to come to your practice, to come towards your inner world, the body, making this space for connection. There's a little visualization I've been coming back to that I've been finding really helpful recently that I want to share before we start to move. So for me, when I visualize softening or letting go or releasing, kind of tends to look a little bit like there were walls, and then those walls are kind of gently softening. They're kind of starting to come down. We work with all sorts of release in our practice, whether it's parts of the physical body, whether it's releasing a judgment or something in the mind, or just allowing ourselves to let go, to come back to the present. So for me, when I think about releasing, if you follow that visualization, we can kind of almost also start to feel into an expansion that we can feel into at the same time. It's like the more we let go, the more we can invite ourselves to feel into the more expansive parts of who we are, the things that connect all of us. So if that makes any sense, or if it's helpful for you, it can sometimes be a nice thing to bring into your breath. Each exhale is this gentle releasing, just this soft, soft little letting go. And every inhale is this little invitation into expansion, into feeling into that. We'll stay here for just around another 4 or so breaths at your own count. Now, no rush. Please feel free to take your time as always. But once you've finished your 4 counts of breath, we're going to be working our way to a child's pose today. If you've been lying down, take your time. If you want to move along the way, roll on one side. If you've been using any props, if you were seated, feel free to place them out to the side. And now everyone's a little bit different with child's pose. Often depends on the shape of your pelvis or kind of the mass in the front of the body. Some people like to go knees out nice and wide here. I am one of those people. Other people like to take knees together. Have a little play around, see what feels best for you. We're going to have the fingertips reaching forwards and encouraging the forehead down towards the ground. So we're going to take this quite active as we begin, and we're going to keep flowing with the breath. So you can tent up onto your fingertips. Feel like you're trying to scrunch the mat in so the palms are lifting but fingertips down. So you inhale, really press into your fingertips. The chest will lift gently. You can look to the hands. And now the exhale is going to ripple us back down. Let's take a couple more like that together. Inhaling. Exhaling. One more like that. Exhale, ripples down. And then we're going to keep that going. Flatten your palms. This time as you inhale, ripple forward towards a tabletop position. We're going to really dome the spine. Now as you exhale, it's like you're opening up the chest. We're going to lead with the hips as you drop that back towards your child's pose. Start to find the movement. And then sinking the breath into the way you move. 2 more of those at your own pace. You can go as slow or as fast as you would like. Every single day, body's going to feel just that tiny bit different every single practice. So just taking your time to start to warm into the spine and just starting to come into today, taking care of the body today. Sound effects are very welcome. Next time you finish your round, start to come to a tabletop. As you inhale, we're going to lift the right leg behind us. Bend the knee and open up the hip. Now pause there, let the side of the head drop down. So you can keep it here, really nice way to start to open the hips. There are other options you can bring in if you like. You can take it towards a supported wild thing by taking the right foot to the ground and maybe the hand up. Or you can go for your tiger pose, where we bend up the leg and we're taking the hand towards the foot. Any of them are lovely. They're all going to work a similar opening in the body. Just take one more breath. And then releasing that back down. We come back to tabletop. Let's go through another ripple. So your exhale will go back to child's pose. And then rippling it back through. Lead with the shoulders, doming. Exhaling. We come back to tabletop, inhale. Pause, exhale. Inhale, left leg back behind you. Bend the knee, open the hip. Keep it there, relax down the neck. We can stay or same options. Don't feel like you have to go to the same thing you did on your first side. Got that supported wild thing really opening up the front of the body. Or similar but with a balance. We can float up the leg, maybe hand reaches towards the foot. Just one more big breath. Start to release. Come back to tabletop. This time I'm going to go through a vinyasa. So if you take your hands slightly further forward for your supported plank. Inhale, shoulders forwards. Exhale, let's go the whole way to the ground. Draw the elbows in. Keep gripping with your hands as you find your back bend, cobra or up dog. Soften the shoulders. And then exhale takes you back. As always, you decide where you would like to go to, whether it wants to be your child's pose, your tabletop or your down dog. It's going to be there for around 3 to 4 breaths. If you want to move around in those poses, feel free to move around. If you want to yawn, if you want to sigh. And if you've gone to one pose, no, you do not have to stay in it. Feel free to kind of move around, play around. Now that little sequence we just did from tabletop, we're going to go through all of it again. You can take it just as it was from tabletop if that felt really engaging, if that felt good. If you want to try something else, we can do a similar thing from our downward facing dog. So when you're ready, down dog or tabletop, next inhale, lift up the right leg. Bend the knee, open the hip. So we can pause here, breathe into the sensation, or same couple options. If you want to take it towards a wild thing, we drop the foot over and we're lifting up the chest. Or if you're taking a balancing option, it will look a little different in a down dog. You want to gently look towards the center of your mat and maybe see if you can get the right hand to lift. Really wobbly one, take your time. When you're ready to release, down dog or tabletop. Again, more spinal wave. Your next inhale, ripple through the spine, shoulders over knuckles. As you exhale, opening the chest, taking it back. And let's meet in down dog or tabletop. Second side, inhale, left leg to the sky. Bend the knee, open up the hip. You can keep it here or same. We can go wild thing. We can go balancing option. Big breath, squeezing the glutes. If you're taking that balance from your down dog, it's going to look a little different. You're opening up the hip and you're gently seeing if you can float that up. We're all going to meet hands, feet, knees to the ground. Let's vinyasa together. Inhale, come forward to your plank variation. Knees can be up or down. Your next exhale, let's go the whole way down to the ground, elbows in. Your back bend, your cobra, or your up dog. Your exhale takes it back. Downward facing dog, tabletop. Excuse me. Or child's pose. 3 to 4 breaths. For 2. And for 1. From where you are, we're going to start to make our way to the top of the mat. You can get there from down dog or tabletop, walking, stepping or jumping your feet back forwards. When you're there, where inhale is going to lift us halfway, weight to heels. And the exhale will fold it back down. One more just like that. Use the whole length of the breath to come up. Whole length of the exhale to fold down, almost like you're trying to look to belly button. We're going to stay here. Couple options. You can interlace the hands back behind you. If that's a little tender on the shoulders, we'll take the palms to the small of the back. We're going to bend the right knee. Inhale, look over the left. Exhale down. Switch sides, look over the right. Exhale down. Once more either side. Take your time. If you want to go deeper, bring the body a little higher, twist around a little further. One more. And then we release. Whole way to standing this time. Urdhva Hastasana. Press through the feet, sweep up the arms, look to the thumbs. Samastitihi. Hands come down through prayer. Pause here. Press through your feet. Padabandha. Engage. Lift the top of the head. Gently chin to the chest. Let's inhale. Steady out there. Exhale. Let the hands draw down if they're not there already. We'll work the Surya A. Press through your feet as you inhale, sweep up to look up. As you exhale, we forward fold, chin to chest, dome the spine. Inhale's your halfway lift. Then we start our vinyasa, hands to the ground, working your way back to your plank pose, walking, stepping, jumping. Your exhale will lower you down halfway or the whole way. Inhale will open the chest, grip with the fingers to drag the chest forwards. Exhale takes you back. You decide if it wants to be down dog, tabletop, or child's pose. Another 2 breaths here this time. Notice if the jaw's trying to join in. Notice if the neck's holding any tension. Give them a little shake around if they are. All right, back to the top of the mat, down dog or tabletop. Find tiptoes if you're in down dog. We'll all look to the hands. Walking, stepping, or jumping. If you're jumping, little press into the hands. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale to fold. One more just like that. Press through the feet, sweep up, look up. Straight back down, fold it down. Inhale, we lift halfway. Your transition, hands to the ground, walking, stepping or jumping. Maybe some of us land bent elbows. You take your time to come through your variation. We'll all meet back, down dog, tabletop or child's pose. For 2. Notice your grounding sensations. Play with a feeling now that you're actively pressing the ground away, and now really let your joints release, let it soften, and then come to find a little mid-ground. One more breath. All right, look to your hands. Walking, stepping, or jumping back forwards. Inhale, we lift up halfway. And exhale, we fold back down. This time we're going to find a chair pose. Bend your knees, sweep the arms up by the ears. Exhale, hold. Gently look to the hands. Exhale, Ardha Utkatasana, half chair. Sweep the fingertips back behind you, a little stronger in the legs. You can take your weight to your heels. You can lift your toes. You can take weight to tiptoes and lift your heels. Work those stabilizers in the ankles. One more breath. From where you are, come to tiptoes, take the knees out wide. And take your fingertips forward. This is kind of like what we did right at the beginning when we're in that active child's pose. The tent onto the fingers to dome the spine. If this feels good today, you're super, super welcome to be there as always. If you're someone who likes to arm balance, you want to do your thing, do your crow to headstand. I'll give us a little bit of guidance for anyone that wants to give those a go. Going to take the hands down, spread your fingertips, lift up the hips, bend the elbows, and gently think of lifting the head. You might just take weight into your hands, see what that feels like. If you want to go further, use an exhale to work on lifting up 1 toe, maybe 2. If you're working on your headstand transition, you bend your elbows, then you're taking the top of your head down to gently rest on the ground. From there, squeezing the knees in. We're going to be taking it back through a vinyasa. You can pike and shoot the feet back, or you can come back towards your crow. I think the cat's got a hold of my hair. He does. However you get back. We're going to meet in downward facing dog. All right, you're getting one more chance, little dude. I know. All right, let's inhale the right leg to the sky. Exhale, knee to your nose and really dome the spine, press the ground away. Inhale the leg back high. Now we're working our way to our low lunge, knee to the nose, start to take your foot towards your hands, take your time to get there, and then we'll take the back knee down. We're gonna inhale, sweep up the arms, then we start to twist, exhale the right hand back. We're gonna keep circling, so inhale the arm up, exhale, really reach through your fingers, open it back. One more inhale up. Now pausing with the hands reaching away from one another, really actively opening up the chest. You can hold it here. If you want to go deeper, you can tuck the toe, tip the ankle. Some of us might go hand to leg, or even taking a hand down towards your heel. Just notice if you can still breathe, let that be important. Slowly release, hands come down to frame your front foot, and you make your way back, tabletop or down dog. If you'd like to vinyasa, of course that is there for you, or just making your own way back. So we're going to take that sequence second side. Again, you can take it from down dog or tabletop. Inhale the left leg up. Exhale, the knee to the nose, dome the spine. Inhale, the leg back high. Exhale, knee to nose, dome the spine. Step the foot towards the hands, take the back knee down, take your time. Once you are there, we sweep up. And then we circle it back. 2 more, take your time. If you want to test your balance, you can see if you can look to your fingertips the whole time. And then next time the arms reach away, pause with them there. You can keep it there, you can tip the angle, you can take the hand down towards your ankle. 1 more breath. Start to release. You can vinyasa or working your way back, tabletop, child's pose, or downward facing dog. Holding there for 3. If you want to sigh, take a sigh. For 2. And 1. Let's come back to the top of the mat. Look just past the hands. Walk, step or jump. Press to the hands if you're jumping. Inhale as your half lift. And exhale, we fold that back down. Let's come to chair pose. Bend your knees, sweep the arms up by the ears. 1 more breath, gently look to the hands. Inhaling. Exhale, Tadasana, straighten the legs, draw the arms down. We'll take a breath, inhale. If you want to sigh, take a nice sigh out. All right, we're going to sweep up the arms. Then just turn so you can see me. We're going to take a hold of the right wrist, peel it up, and then think of gently going over to the side. Notice if your weight naturally goes to 1 foot. For now, shift it to both. Lift up the chest. Nice. Now find a drishti, somewhere you can focus your eyes. Now we're going to consciously take the weight to the left foot, and as slowly as you can, step the right foot to the back of the mat. Keep the arms as they are. Inhale, press that right heel back. Take it to a warrior 2. Keep the arms the same. 1 more breath. You got it, press through the big toes. All right, we're gonna circle. So draw the hands down towards your left foot. Then we're slowly gonna straighten the left leg, release the hands, turn the toe in, wide-legged forward fold. If you wanna invert, if you wanna do your thing, you are super welcome to. If you're with me, we're gonna work a twist. Right hand goes underneath the face, left arm peels up to the ceiling. You can keep it there, or you can wrap that right hand back behind you. Sorry, left hand back behind you. Notice if the right hip's dropped. If it has, just gently think about squaring them. 1 more breath, lean back towards that left shoulder. And release. Switching sides. If you're up, take your time. Maybe you play with shapes. Could be a Baddha Konasana. Could be a little bit of a straddle and then back. If you're with me, right hand around the back. The left hip is dropped, gently square it. 1 more breath, and release. Okay, we turn the toes out to the right toes out to the back of the mat. I'm gonna start to drop down the hips towards Skandasana. It might look something like this. For some of us, we'll go down, ooh, a little bit lower. It's just my expression today. 1 more breath. Look to the top of your mat, we're gonna switch. Hands can help along the ground, or you can keep them lifted. Then we're gonna go for a twist. So right hand goes down towards the ground. Inhale your left arm to the ceiling. You're gonna keep it flowing. As you exhale, think left elbow down to left heel. 2 more, inhale it up. Exhale it down. 1 more like that, inhale it up. As you exhale, drop down the right knee and peel the hand back behind you. You might want to stay here. Some of us may be peeling up the foot, opening it. 1 more breath. Release. Option. Stay here, leaning it open, or take it back to your tiger pose. Like what we did at the beginning of the class. Right foot goes slightly out to the side. Left leg kind of swings up and back. Just try and reach towards the hand. You might be here. If you've got lots of space in your back, you can take the toe towards the elbow. And then we release. Take the left foot the whole way back to the top of the mat, lizard pose. Some of us might be up on the hands, or this is a nice place to start to use blocks. Might be nice to give yourself a little bit more space here, lifting out, or you can also use blocks to go lower. Maybe it's forearms down. Those of us who are very comfortable down on the forearms on the ground, if you want something else to work with, there's one I've been playing with lately. It's kind of like a bindy, twisty lizard thing. You take your left hand underneath the left leg, start to take the right bend up the right leg, reach the hand towards it, and then you drop the hips back down. 2 more breaths. If that's just like super easy, you can also take your head underneath your leg. You can. 1 more breath. All right, from any variation you're in, start to make your way back to your hands if you left them. 1 more option, we peel the left arm up. You can go back to that tiger pose, peeling the leg back, or we take it to wild thing. Similar, just a slightly longer journey for the foot. Right knee's lifted, we circle it up and back. Again, if there's lots of space for you, you can always go Urdhva Dhanurasana, wiggle the feet in and both hands down. Just 1 more breath. Take it back the way you came. You can go straight to your child's pose, or if you'd like to vinyasa along the way, take your time. And back. Down to your child's pose. If you prefer, it can be tabletop. If you prefer, it can be downward facing dog. Big inhale. And then sigh it out. Let's flutter the lips. Big inhale. Let it go. Take this moment just to be in a little more stillness. Remember the intentions of your movements, of your practice. And challenge yourself. See if you can just come back to this breath right here. Bring your focus onto it. And then come back to this breath. All right, we're going to start to make our way towards our second side. So you can vinyasa along the way if you'd like to. There's always that transition from child's pose to your half press up. Maybe you go straight to down dog or tabletop. However you get there, we make our way to the top of the mat, walking, stepping, or jumping. Inhaling half lift and exhaling down. Whole way to standing, press through the feet, sweep up the arms, look up. Second side, take a hold of the left wrist. Inhale, peels it up. And exhale over. Notice what's going on in the feet, balance it out, squeeze the glutes. You can stay, sorry, no, not that. We're going to start to focus the gaze in front of us, find your drishti. Now shift the weight to the right foot, slowly as you can. Take the left leg back. We meet in that lunge, press the left heel back and away. 1 more breath. And then we slowly open it out. Warrior 2 variation. See if you can keep the shape in the arms. 1 more breath. And then we start to turn that toe in. You circle it round. Wide-legged forward fold. So options. Got our fingertips down and our twisty twisties. Those are there again if you would like them. For those of us who have the comfortable inversion practice, you're doing your thing, feel free. But if anyone wants a little bit of guidance, I'm going to guide us through. We're going to do a little bit of a headstand through towards a pinchery sort of thing. So if you've got your headstand with the forearms down, this is what we're going to work. You're going to take the hands down, you can interlace them or just place them onto the ground. We slowly take the top of the head down, you're rolling it forwards, and you want to use an exhale to see if you can slowly lift off the toes. You want to think about them trying to get as far away from one another. They might go the whole way up, they might come back down. Now, something for my people who are very keen on their inversions, make a shape that's quite comfortable for you in your headstand. We're going to see if we can lift this up towards our forearm stand. So you're really going to press into the ground, see if you can lift your head, use a bit of a back bend, take your time, and then see if you can open the legs back out. We're all going to meet feet back on the ground. Oh, bloody hard work. All right, turn the left toe to the back of the mat. Drop your hips down. Let's take a breath in. Switch sides. You can walk the hands along or have them lifted. And then we go into our twist. Left hand down, right arm up. We keep it flowing. Exhale, elbow down towards ankle. It doesn't have to touch, that's just the direction. We inhale it up. Exhale it down. Inhale it up. This time pause, drop the back knee down, twisted lizard. We reach the hand back. You might stay there. Some of us might play with lifting up the foot. And then we transition it towards tiger pose. So releasing any binds in the foot, left foot goes to the side. Right leg swings to the back of the mat towards the right hand. Some of us maybe towards the elbow. One more breath. Slowly release. From here, lizard pose. Foot goes out to the side. You might grab your blocks. You might go lower. Couple breaths. Take your time to ease into it. Sides of the body can be different. For 2. If you tried that twisty bindy variation on your first side, or if you want to give it a go on this side, right hand goes underneath the leg. We bend up the leg. You might take your hips back to find the foot and then take it back to your lizard. Let's release. Hands to the ground. We're going to inhale the right arm up. You can go back to tiger pose, or you lift the knee to take it towards your wild thing. If you're working that transition towards Urdhva Dhanurasana, maybe right hand can find the ground. You're going to have to wiggle that left foot in to then switch over the hands. Then you've got to make it back the way you came. It's kind of confusing. Left hand is to point back to the front of your mat. I know we're upside down, so it doesn't always make sense. You take the hips back down and you circle it round. You can Vinyāsa, or as and when you are ready. Let's come towards our child's pose variation. So in this moment, I'm using child's pose as a resting shape. It's not always comfortable in everyone's body, so see what feels best for you. If you prefer to be seated, if you prefer to be lying down or anything like that, you're super welcome to. It's going to be around 5 breaths here. Again, just time and time again, seeing if we can let ourselves keep coming back to this breath. Collecting that awareness, collecting that care, appreciating the effort you've been putting in. All right, so we've been doing a fair amount of opening the shoulders. So now we're going to stabilize them a little bit. We're going to use some of the chest opening, but we're going to bring a bit more weight into them. So it's kind of like a funny little press up. Gonna have the hand shoulder distance, and think about a triangle. It's like your chin is trying to touch as the top of the triangle if your hands are the bottom of it. So inhaling, and you're drawing your elbows in, chin might go halfway, might go the whole way, pressing yourself back up, and then back to child's pose. We can do one more like that. So this is working towards our chin stand. If that is your practice, in your practice, you want to do your thing, feel free. If you're working towards it, I'm going to recommend pointing the hands out a little bit. This helps the elbows come in, and we kind of want to catch ourselves on the waist when we start to work towards the pose. We can take a little bit more weight into this by lifting a leg. So now we're loading the weight of the leg as well as we kind of take those touches down. Same second side. Back to child's pose. Any rolls of your wrists. Now we can work with any of those first 2 options, or I'll give a little bit of cueing if you want to work it towards your chin stand. Having a wall can be nice if you're new to it, but blocks are going to be fantastic. So everyone's space between their chin and their shoulder is a little bit different. For me, it tends to be block on this setting. For some people, it tends to be a little bit lower. So you're going to use your blocks. You're going to have your hands just behind them, turn them out a little bit closer than you might usually. You're going to start to wiggle, elbows in, then you lower down and you're kind of touching your shoulders on towards the block. This just stops too much weight going into my chin as we start to learn the pose. So from there, it's the same as we've been doing. You lift up a leg, then you can start to lift the knee, and you might start to peel your toes towards one another and exhaling it down. So you can give it a little go if you like. As and when it starts to get more comfortable, obviously no rush. Also doesn't have to be something you're interested in, but for people that are, what we really want to work is we want to keep the tension out the neck. The chin's just kind of a balancing point, is seeing if we can take all of the weight out the chin. So that would look a little something like, but then seeing if you can actually just lift it off and hold there instead, wherever you've been. Let's meet back in tabletop. If the wrists need a release, take the back of the hand to the ground, gently inhale. If you want to take more, you can exhale, just softly, softly, softly lean back and switch sides. softly, softly. Okay, we're going to take ourselves to seated from here. You can take your hips to one side, feet forwards. If you want to work your jump through, feel free to take blocks or without. You go a little bit wider than shoulder distance. Start in a down dog. Bringing your feet in closer is a nice thing to do. Look where you want your toes to go. Bend your knees. It's a little jump. When you're there, we're going to forward fold. So we're going to inhale the arms up and folding over the legs. You can go Paschimottanasana, where we're lifting the chest and we're really elongating the spine, a bit more active for the body and the nervous system. Or we can take it a little softer, a bit more restorative, coming to caterpillar pose, more calming for the nervous system. Chin drops to the chest, resting the body here. When you're ready, slowly lift back up to upright. Got a couple seated poses when I come through before we close. Peel up your left legs. I'm going to mirror us now. Take a little bit of movement, seated pigeon. So you can hold it here. Some of us might go a little bit higher. 3 breaths. Try drop the shoulders. Flex the left foot. When you're ready, let it release. Left hand's going to go to the little toe side of the foot. Think of it like a half happy baby. Take some movement, but we're going to take this active again. So your foot's trying to kick away, and then your hand's trying to like catch the leg, pull it back. Find those kind of opposing forces. You might be able to give your arm a little shake. Hold it there for 3, for 2, for 1, let it release. Now we switch hands. Take the left hand towards your foot. Right hand towards your foot, left arm underneath. Shift towards the right, you can hold it there. Some of us might extend the leg. Some of us might go compass. If you're really comfy in compass, you can take the other hip down as well. 1 more breath. Start to release. Last little bit of fun here. Left hand goes back behind you. Now we're gonna see if you can kind of squeeze your right knee in, and we're trying to take it through this loop. And then back. If there's not quite enough space, then what we do, we just cheat. You release your hand, take it back. So it's still the right leg that's kind of extending. If you feel quite comfy there, maybe see if you can float. Left hand at the same time. All right, let it release. Whoa! You can either go Janu or half lotus. The arms go up and we fold. 2 breaths. Come back up to upright. Let's switch sides. Left leg long, right leg in. Bit of movement. I'm gonna hold 3 breaths, seated pigeon. Give the right foot a flex. Try be gentle. Find that sort of softness within the sensation. Okay, half happy baby. Any movements? Find that resistance, kick out, draw in for 2. And 1, let that release. Switch arms towards compass, right arm goes underneath. You shift over to the left, yes. Start to kick, might look something like that. Some of us might go a little further up. Think of lifting up the chest. If you'd like to, you can work with both hip bones, then dropping back down. Start to release, keep a hold of your foot. Unravel the right hand, and now we scoot. Scoot, scoot. Scoot, scoot. Remember, you can always undo your loop. Yeah? You can lift the hand. Just a couple more. Release. Janu, foot to inner seam of leg, or half lotus. Lift up and fold. Unravel and take ourselves towards our close. So make sure you got enough space back behind you. When you're ready, you can roll whole way down. It's always nice to take a moment just to find the ground, to not be doing any pose. And as always, this is time for you. You decide if there are any last movements you want to take before you come to find your Shavasana today. It can be twisting, back bending, inverting, maybe just wriggling around. If you've got any lights you want to turn down, any layers you want to put back on, I'd encourage you to really, really take your time to care for yourself here. If you're still closing, just join when you are ready. But those of us who found where they'd like to be, or when you do, I want to invite you to just take a final couple size. Big breaths in. Your exhale is going to release it out. Take as many of those as you like. You can let that exhale be quite symbolic. There's letting go of the physical parts of practice. Releasing your control of the breath. And allowing yourself to feel into this softness. Be supported by the ground beneath you again. As lovely and as important as the physical poses are, in the ways they allow us to get to know ourselves and care for ourselves, they don't have to be everything. They're really just a vehicle that we can use to keep finding ways to challenge ourselves, to cultivate care within those spaces, and keep making that space to come back to connection. Whether for you that's connection of body and breath, body and mind, or something more expansive. If you'd like to, you can return back to that visualization that we started with. Each exhale, this tiny little letting go, this releasing. Your inhale is a reminder or a feeling into the expansive parts of who you are, who we are. Be here for just around another minute and a half. And then I'll begin to guide us out. If you want to stay a little longer and you have the time, you are so welcome to do so. Just put me on pause. If you would like to return, or when you feel ready to, let's start to deepen the breath. Begin to invite in any movements, fingers, toes, head, stretches, yawns, sighs. Then absolutely no rush. You know when you feel ready, so just come up when you do. We'll close our practice seated today. So once you're ready, you can just gently start to work your way there.